Hello everyone, welcome to a World of Warships video. Today's video is brought to you by the letter E for Edinburgh and the letter R for radar, because we are in the radar Edinburgh, which I think is probably the only videos that are going up on my channel at the moment. But anyway, there's plenty of World of Warships content that you can see for non-radar Edinburghs, so get your radar Edinburgh fix here. So here we are, we're on the, whatever the map, Okinawa, the Okinawa map, whatever the name of this map is, because I forget the names of the maps. But anyway, this map is the Okinawa map, and the big problem with this map is that it's really, really, really open, and I do not like open water much, because, well, I tend to get roughed up. So what we're doing here is we'll make a decision. So there's several ways I can play this. I could go to the left, there's a nice cluster of islands over there. I could go for the centre, and sort of, but I think our ships are making a break to the left and the right, which means I'll be on my own in a crossfire, or I can, and it's a decision that I do make, follow our friendly destroyer. Now the reason I'm following the friendly destroyer is there's one destroyer per side, and those destroyers generally tend to place off against each other. So if I follow this destroyer, I'm more likely to find the enemy destroyer. We have been detected, but our captain's skill that shows the number of guns pointed at us didn't cook off, so we're okay. So at the moment, we're going to be continuing to make a beeline for that Udaloy. As soon as aircraft come out, we'll have to make some decisions about manoeuvring, because manoeuvring is my friend. Now I do have the traverse module, or the steering module, but I am looking at the acceleration module for the Edinburgh, mainly in the hope that it slows it down. Maybe I should try the acceleration module in a lower tier ship, like the Fiji or the Leander, because basically the biggest issue I have is overshooting my cover. That is my number one reason for getting murdered in this ship, is that I'm trying to do fine tuning, I accelerate, and this thing accelerates like crazy. It goes forward like crazy, it goes reverse like a pig. Right, I do have two sets of enemy crosshairs pointed at me. That's never a lot of fun. My ability to maneuver is a bit constrained by this incoming torpedo that I don't want to wear. Okay, a bit of HE, I'm okay with that. My friendly side is telling me to get back, which is probably... yeah, well the problem is if I get back, then all I'm going to basically do is sit and watch the battle. I'll be coming into this battle as an observer. So we are going to make the smoke, although we get pretty badly smacked on the way in. Perfect, we're in smoke. And we cook off our radar. Now this radar is enhanced due to the captain's skill, and due to the fact that yeah, it's the advanced consumable. Just putting some torpedoes in the water to try and make sure that Kitakazi knows that we don't like him. But as it turns out, he's making some bad decisions, and I think what he's probably trying to do, and I can't see for certain, he's accelerating, and I suspect he's accelerating because he knows that he can't sit still while he's being radared. So yeah, so he's gone. Sort of leaves me with, well, an employment problem. What am I supposed to do now? Because there's no way that I'm going to be of any use against those cruisers and battleships up the back line. Now we are going to hold the sea cap, particularly because I'm going to beach myself in it, just to make sure that it knows that it's completely owned. There's nothing like claiming something by beaching yourself on it. Our destroyer is very lucky that I think it would be the Zhao's torpedoes ran out of steam. Now I'm going to have to head slightly to the left, which would, I suppose, would be the east, west, the west, looking at the map from the top, in order to make sure that I've got a bit of distance between me and those heavy guns, so that if I am spotted by that submarine, I can, yeah, I can have a chance to manoeuvre. But that Udaloy, he looks like he needs some support. So In this sort of type of battle, I can't do a lot to depth charge a destroyer, but I can certainly drive. As I said, I own sea cap. I've beached myself in it enough times. Um, because what I can do is I can drive them underwater, and I can even provide a bit of sonar support. But what I can't afford to do is sort of get into the open ocean and try and depth charge him. If he's foolish enough to have snuck in behind the islands, you know, in the F5 point, if he's sort of in that area, then yeah, he's fair game. But if he stays sort of closer to his ships than not, I can't bring myself close enough to be able to do much. And if I fire, I'll just make myself a big friendly target. Now the Udaloy, he's going to take the cap. Here comes the enemy bombers. I'm going to turn off my guns. That doesn't do anything because basically, yeah, I'm going to turn on my guns. And I'm going to probably get fired at by, well, the Jean Bart seems to have sent some metal this way. The Kearsarge, not sure. Oh no, the Zao was the other one. Oh no, he's fired at the destroyer. Okie dokie. We're going to head in towards the cap. So this is actually a really quite enjoyable game because it's not often that your friendly ships sort of will pair up. I'm assuming that's what the Udaloy is doing. I'm spotting for him. So yeah, it's a pretty good combination. Right, here we're detected. The great thing about the Edinburgh is with the concealment module and the concealment captain skill, it means that if you're detected, whatever's detecting was definitely, unless it's an aircraft, within radar range. He's obviously submerged, which is the only reason he disappeared from my radar, but unfortunately, I've been prevaricating on whether to go left or right, and so I'm going to claim B cap by beaching in it. Let's just pretend I let off a squad of Marines each time I contact the island, because there's no other rational explanation for it. And this really is the wrong place to be, to be almost beached. I've given myself enough room that when the torpedoes get in the water, I can rush forward just enough so that I don't wear all of them. There you go. That's defensive tactics for you. And fortunately for me, the torpedo bombers well, they go for the Udaloy, and there's no joy in that. Unspotted, which means I can disentangle myself and leave my detachment of Marines behind. I can disentangle myself from this piece of land, which is great. And there is the enemy submarine. And once again, he's got himself into a position where he's sort of alone, really. So this Udaloy, as I said, I may not be able to actually depth charge him myself, but the Udaloy can quite happily depth charge him as long as I keep him driven underwater. And if he has to surface, well then that's going to be the end of him, isn't it? Right. So he's obviously underwater because I'm not detected, which is great because for the next 31 seconds I am waiting for my radar to come back. So I have 4 of these things, and I often find that I get through them, which is great, you know. So it's I have the superintendent skill, and yeah, it's having originally it was to have 4 smoke screens or 3 smoke screens or whatever it was, but having 4 radar, that's just beautiful. I don't know what he's firing at. I'll be the Missouri. So the aircraft come in, which means that it's time to maneuver. Not because I'm worried about the aircraft, I'm worried about the shells coming in because of the aircraft spotting. It would have been nice to have been in the smoke for the Udaloy, but maybe. Anyway. Yeah, there's the Zao. He misjudged distance, which is just as well. And I think we're going to go behind this point of land, try and Create a big barrier between myself and that Kansas. Because that Kansas could really hurt. And we're detected. And you know what that means? That means find the bad guy. And finally, the enemy submarine is driven off. So really, we don't do a lot of damage, but we do a lot more denial. So what I'm going to do is, I think the game finishes about this point, so I'll leave it here. Hope you've enjoyed watching it. Feel free to leave. I'm sure that people will have plenty of tips and comments how I can improve my gameplay, because basically I can't shoot. That's for certain. And I do take too many risks still, but at least I have an excuse for it now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.